Hello and welcome to a special moodily lit episode of the DM Diaries, which was entirely intentional and totally not because I still haven't replaced the light bulb in my bedroom. This is your chance to get behind the DM screen and find out what's going on in my head. For those of you who's wondering, it's the Headless Horseman from World of Warcraft. So tonight's episode is going to be, I don't know really too much, but I'm very tired. I spent all last night playing a farming sim that I found. Our love will grow. It's fantastic, actually. But I've got some tea, so I'll be drinking that while we talk about various things that have been going on in my games and generally things that I think about D&D. So the first thing I want to talk about is introducing the 2 new players to our game Black Winter Nights. Now, introducing new players is always tricky. Have I talked about this before? I can't remember. We're doing it again if I have. But I found an interesting way to do it was to have them, when they met the party, throw them into combat. Now that not only introduces the players to how the party style is at fighting, but also immediately, you know, if they succeed, puts the party, puts them in the debt of the party because they helped them in this battle, which kind of lends to the, well, do you want to hang around with us and go on this next quest with us kind of thing. It kind of makes that a bit easier. That's pretty cool. It's a good way of doing it. Also, it's fun, you know, with a new character, especially if you're playing something you haven't played before. And both my new players in Black Winter Nights, one is playing a Blood Hunter, which we will talk about in a sec, actually. And, you know, they've never played that before, so combat is an interesting way to try and, I suppose, throw them in the deep end a little bit, and just see if they can, you know, figure out how it works, how combat works for them, because that's an important part. So yeah, introducing new players. I generally like players to create their own backstories. The more detailed, the better, in my opinion. And then you kind of just slowly, over the next 3 or 4 sessions, you just put little bits in about maybe someone they knew when they were, you know, before they met the party, or some kind of personal storyline, something that ties them into the world and gets them connected, which is one of the main things to do as a DM, get your players connected to the world and the story. So yeah, a new player comes along, they pick their stats and stuff, they know their backstory. But then it's taking that to the next level. You want to have them have free reign to do what they want, and you know I suppose you got two kinds of new players. Ones that have played tabletop before, and then the much more challenging, never played. Although some could argue that both sides are quite difficult. For example, with a player that has played before, they might be. My hair is really messed up. I tried to like wear a whole bunch of hats earlier. But because the light is over there, you couldn't see. I was looking at shit. You couldn't figure it. Players that have played before will have a certain style of dungeon master-ishness. I can't think of words. I'm so tired. But yeah, they will have in their head, you know, their previous DM and how he ran the game, and you might run your games differently. So it's kind of can be a struggle trying to be like, actually, we don't really have that style. We're kind of trying to get their mindset into molding with the rest of the table. And then you've got the I've never played before, which is kind of like a lump of clay, but also makes it more difficult in terms of they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. You foreshadow with a bit of an NPC dropping some information. They don't know that that's a signal to go, oh, you should find out more about that kind of thing. So that can prove challenging as well. But let's talk now about the Blood Hunter. Now, one of the main reasons, this is for those of you who don't know, one of Matt Mercer's from Critical Role's classes that he's created, and I think it's up to currently version 1.8. Blood Hunter is really, really cool. Now, one of the reasons that I allow homebrew stuff is because I really want my players to be able to do what they want, kind of thing, to an extent. If they want to play this class, I riffle through it and go, okay, it's not ridiculously OP, you know, because some random person might have just created this thing. So, you know, check it for fairness, but I think at the end of the day, this whole experience, yeah, is about kind of giving your players what they want, because it's a shared you know, event. It's a shared experience. So anyway, I had 2 main reasons for wanting to do Blood Hunter. One was that I want my players to be able to do what they want. They wanted to play Blood Hunter. And 2, because it's a newer class, I've never seen it play out before, and I was really just curious as to what that would be like to have a Blood Hunter in one of my games. So, and also at the same time, he wanted to play a bird person. Kinku or Aka Rucka 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 what? And I can't pronounce the word, but it's a Raka 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 Raka. A bird person. And that was like a double whammy for me. I was like, hey, cool, I've never seen a bird person play before, and I've never seen a blood hunter be both of them, and it's entertaining for me. I'm going to get to watch how it kind of goes. Although I'm slightly concerned because the bird person can fly, obviously, being, Kinkus can't, so he's not a Kinku, he's the Araka. Now they can fly. Now fly itself, in terms of the Arcana, it's like a 10th level spell. So you don't get that till way later on. My party, they're only level 5 at the moment. So I am a little concerned about that being slightly OP, being able to just fly over stuff. So maybe I'll introduce something like exhaustion, like you can only fly, a certain amount of, I think it's 50 feet, or something. But if they try and go, I'm just gonna like go to the next town and come back, kind of thing. But I'm tinkering around with that, and I'm kind of watching it develop as it goes on. I actually got to a point where I'm so tired, I'm not sure if I'm making sense. Like I can kind of hear the words that I'm saying, but in like this echoey kind of distant way. It's quite interesting. So yeah, if I'm not making sense, just put it down in the comments. Because I'll read it tomorrow when I'm not tired. Anyway, I've been talking for 6 minutes. I don't think I've actually said anything. The other thing I want to talk about, which happened, what's today? Oh man, Friday. So last night's game, we had a guest player, comedian John Bennett, who I've looked up to for ages, man. He's an amazing performer, master storyteller. He gets his list of 5-star reviews is like that long. I've been a massive, I fangirled hard when I saw he was in Wellington. I messaged him and said, "Hey, do you remember me? We kind of talked after a couple of your shows. Do you want to play my game?" He was like, "Hell yeah!" I was like, "Oh my god, I got John Bennett in my game!" Like I was really blown away. But he'd never played before, ever. He'd watched a little bit of D&D on. I think he listened to a podcast. So that was challenging. Especially throwing him right into where the story is as midway through. The party already knows what they're doing. They're hunting down the 5 Lords of Violence. They're very well established with the characters and the lore and all that kind of stuff. So getting a completely fresh, not just to the game, but to D&D, set of eyes, I don't know if it makes sense, set of eyes to come and sit at the table was a challenge. But at the same time, he's a really funny dude. He's a comedian. So I kind of had him play... more of the comedic relief kind of thing. So nothing too serious. Of course, my party did not trust him at all. Ever since I lured them into Lord Nyath's castle with an NPC, with a guest player, they've just never trusted when I bring a new one in. But he was totally on the up and up. So yeah, that was really cool. It was really fun having a guest player, and it keeps it interesting. It keeps it fresh. It keeps the players kind of guessing because they never know. They never know, like, why did he bring this player in? What is the intention there? How is this person going to work with us when we've, never met him before? So that's always fun and interesting. It's certainly a challenge, but really, really fun as a DM. Because it keeps it interesting for me as well. Essentially, a guest player, especially one that's never played before, is a wild card. It is the deck of illusions which you throw 30 feet in front of you and poof, the experience presents itself. I think that analogy worked. I'm not entirely sure. So that was really fun. John Bennett, you're a legend. Thanks for appearing on our show. I fangirled hard when you were like, yes, I'm gonna be performance. That's all. Other stuff. I've now been talking to 8 minutes. I got a little timer. I'm just looking at my crotch. There's a timer down there. I might edit that out. What am I saying? I looked over there. I can see my Pikachus. I slept with them last night. I cuddled them in the middle of the night. I shouldn't say that. It was adorable. But anyway, we're talking about D&D. Sorry, guys. So sleep deprived. Anyway, what else was I going to talk about? Now, weirdly, I think inspiration in terms of being a DM. The most obvious, obviously, is watching something like Critical Role, Harmon Quest, Adventure Zone, and, being inspired by that and going, hey, I really like the way that Dungeon Master introduced a story element and had them players following it for several sessions without any need for combat. Or, hey, I really enjoyed when they had that twist that none of the players saw coming. It was really elegant and stuff. That's an easy way to get inspired. But honestly, the most I've ever been inspired for my campaigns was after seeing a show called Cosmic Shambles, which was a series of live music, stand-up comedy, and essentially TED Talks. These talks on science. If you don't know what a TED Talk is, head to TED.com. So that was really a weirdly thing. It had nothing to do with D&D at all. But just creatively and as a writer and stuff, it really worked. And after the show, I went along the Wellington waterfront. And just by coincidence, the Wellington Astronomers Society were there, and they had all their telescopes set up. So it's like looking at the moon close up and Saturn and stuff through these like $1,000 telescopes, just wandering around. that somehow I was just like, oh my god, I know exactly what, and I just got home and I just wrote for both games. I wrote the next huge chunks of the storyline. So inspiration can come from anywhere, and always be ready for it, and always be willing to put yourself in a situation where you might not have walked past, you might not have gone into that art gallery, but then maybe you'll find something within those walls that makes you, right, now because inspiration can come from any vista, and I think it's also a decent idea just in life in general, to throw yourself into new experiences with the hopes of, well, hey, if I don't get what I thought out of this, at least maybe it'll be a story, or it'll be inspiration for something that I want to do in my life. Case in point, I became an usher at Court Theatre in Christchurch 9 years ago. And essentially, that was my way of seeing all the plays for free. You volunteer as an usher, you get to see the plays for free. You have to rip tickets and stuff, but that's a small part of it. And I've now been doing that for about 9 years. I've seen 300, 400 plays in my life, and it was really this creative vista, this creative path, and so much of myself as a writer and a DM. I mean, when I'm a writer, I don't just write campaigns for D&D. I'm working on plays and a web series and all that kind of stuff. It really inspires you and can really take your game to the next level. You see something, you experience something, you have this emotional reaction to a character, or you see something that as a story device that just really works. Man, I love the paranoid fantasy of the play Watch. It was amazing. It inspired me. That was years ago, and I still think about it. The comedic value of watching pulp fiction done as a puppet show that was improvised. These guys just memorized the script to Pulp Fiction and then performed it with puppets. That's stuck in my mind. That was 4 years ago. And that kind of stuff. You want to be building that in your lexicon library, in your mind. You want to be taking books that you've read and things that work within that and just storing it away. And then when you sit down and have a massive writing session for your campaigns, you're kind of just pulling up these, I was amazed when I found all those, like when I read Station 11, I was amazed at how the writer had taken, I think it was like 12, maybe 15 different characters, somehow managed to get you to care about each of them, and then beautifully wove together the stories in a way that you were just like, oh my god, I never realized the depth of the story until it was revealed. Building these kind of things and just taking inspiration, be it from anything, and just storing it away within your DM mind, and then when you write, unleashing it on the page. That's one of the best tips that I can give you. Inspiration comes from anywhere. There's so much art and amazing things that have been created in the world. Banksy and the Chapman brothers spring instantly to mind, but really, as a DM, you can read all the Dungeon Master's guides, you can read all the tabletop books, you can watch every episode of Critical Role, which I recommend you do, or if you miss one, check out our review and recap. But it really can come from anywhere. And if you put yourself in a situation where you're walking down the street and you see a collection of local poems on display, or you happen to be near an art gallery, just think to yourself, if I take 10 minutes out of my day right here, that could have really positive repercussions in life in general, creatively and even just emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. I highly recommend throwing yourself into new experiences in that way. It can enrich your D&D world, it can just enrich your general life. It's something I strongly do believe in. Yeah. So that was kind of more serious. I'll just wrap up by talking about mental blocks. Last game, I got to Thursday nights is the one that runs in the evenings. Obviously, Black Winter Nights is the one that runs in the evenings. It starts at 6:30 at night and goes to around about 9:30. Now, I'm old. I'm an old person, and I like to be in bed in my pajamas by 10. It's weird to say. I used to be like, hey, let's do 3 parties in a row and not sleep for 48 hours. I don't do that anymore. If I stay up too late, I'm tired for 4 days. So Black Winter Nights, towards the end of the session, I'm really combating the tiredness that sets in. And I feel so old talking about this, but I am. So I feel the tiredness kind of setting in. That kind of like, that heaviness, that inability to create new thoughts. And that can be really dangerous if the party has gone in a way, on a path that you weren't expecting, as it ended up in a room and you're improvising. Now, I was not improvising. I'd planned. They got to a part that I'd planned last night as we were playing, But towards the end of the session, I was just so tired that I couldn't do it. I could not improvise. I could not add nice little, description, storytelling elements. And I came across this like mental block. And I'm sure you've all been there. And I'm actually, this is my main struggle as a DM at the moment. How to overcome it when I get to a point where my brain just goes, nope, I'm out, and cannot continue. I'm trying to figure out ways of like refreshing, maybe like a splash of cold water to the face. I don't know, something. I have to find something that works. If you're watching this and you have any like tactics for getting over a mental block in the moment, please put it in the comments, so that I can get past this, because it's really becoming a problem sometimes when I just hit a wall and I just go, and they're like, so what does he say? And I'm like, he says hi, and they're like, and it's like, he turns into a beetle, and they all look at me confused, and I go, well, you come up with something then. You know, it doesn't work as a DM. So yeah, if you have any tactics for getting around mental blocks, please put it in the comments below. I really need that. I'm just gonna drink some tea right now. I won this in a competition, this mug. You didn't need to know that. Anyway, I am going to copy this across to the computer. Oh, you may notice my background. These are my monitors. You may notice my background is actually some critter fan art. It's all the characters of Vox Machina, save for Tiberius, celebrating Christmas, and it's real cute because Vax is holding mistletoe over Keeler's head. Oh, you guys, you inspire me just by how much love you have for each other. Yeah, so I nerd hard at Critical Role and D&D because it's the best. So that's essentially things that I wanted to talk about and decided to talk about, and then for some reason you listened. Thank you. I do mean that. But I don't know why. So, yeah. Thanks for supporting our channel, D20 Multiverse. Myself, Oliver Dungeon Master, certainly appreciates it. Why did I talk about myself in third person? Anyway, I'm going to now go and play World of Warcraft until I fall asleep on my keyboard, because that sounds fun to me. I'll edit this first and upload it. But, yeah, if you have any questions or anything that you want me to answer in the next DM Diaries in 2 weeks, then just post it down below, and I honestly promise, okay, how about this? We'll make a deal. I will literally, and this is probably a bad idea, answer honestly any questions that you guys have. If you put a question down in the comments below, any question at all that I can say without, ruining our channel, like getting like YouTube on me and kind of, anything like that, I will answer honestly any questions that you have, and I mean like honestly. I will honestly answer any questions that you have. So put them down in the comments below, and we'll see for the next DM Diaries. Other than that, just thanks, guys. And remember, art is everywhere, and inspiration is everywhere. And if you put yourself in new and exciting experiences, and things that maybe you wouldn't have done normally, go to a play, go see a movie you wouldn't have seen, go to a... they have free movie nights at the Japanese embassy here. I go to those sometimes. It'll enrich your life. It'll make your D&D writing sessions easier. So, Oliver, Dungeon Master, signing off. Let's go play some World of Warcraft, because I really want to just run Satek Halls again on Heroic and get Reigns of the Raven Lord. Anyway, love you guys. Thanks for watching. Remember, check out the rest of our content on D20 Multiverse. There's a lot of it. We put a lot of work into it, and yeah, it's just been really fun having you guys along. Good night. More tea. How was that, Pikachu? He said good.